So we have seen a big trend happening for the past 2 or 3 weeks or so, and that is big, well, not big name Tories yet, although there has been one, but we'll get to that in a moment. Of certainly Tory MPs jumping ship and saying that the next general election, I'm not going to stand. And part of the reason for this is when you look at the seats that they are standing in, the polls do not look good. They've had very slim majorities, and it looks like that these seats will go back. We've mentioned before when we talked about Dana Dolverson. She was one of the big stars of the intake of 2019 of like the Red Wall. Like, oh my God, look at all these seats, look at all these new coalitions we've building. Isn't this fantastic? We've taken the Red Wall from Labour. Isn't this grand? This is new electoral territory. But as we said, the chances of them keeping it are very, very slim, and the polls are bearing that out. And you are now seeing a lot of Tories, especially the Red Wall Tories, saying, don't think I'll be standing again. Someone else can stand in that seat and lose for me. They'll be fine. And of course, the biggest one so far has been Sajid Javid. He has stood down very recently, and of course, he is at this moment the biggest sort of big name Tory to stand down, because again, even in his seat, it does look like that him will be able to sort of win that seat isn't very good. But one thing that we haven't seen very recently is what is potentially going to happen to, shall we say, Tory councillors. Have there been any Tory councillors switching their allegiances? And of course, what has happened? One has actually happened, as far as I'm aware. This is certainly the only one that I'm aware of currently. There may be more out there. I'm not sure. But this guy, a Barnsley councillor for the Conservative Party, has now decided that he is going to switch seats from the Conservative Party over to Reform UK, aka the Brexit Party. And this, to be honest, I've said this before. I've said this before about MPs who sort of change their party allegiance. I think that any politician who decides to change their allegiance mid, shall we say, sitting in their term should have to go to a general election, because I don't think it's fair for these people in this ward. Even if they did legitimately vote for a sort of a Tory councillor, they now have a guy who was changed to a party who did not win in that general election. It wasn't the party that he stood for to represent. So I don't think it's fair for him to do this and not at least go back to the population, or at least back to his sort of area, and say, right, let's have another general election. But by the way, I'm not standing for the Conservative Party. I think in just the sheer, fairness, I think he should go back to a general election, but unfortunately isn't. But we're going to have a look into certainly his reasoning for changing to Reform UK and the reason why he's done this. So before we do go jumping into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. There is also the YouTube thank you button down below as well. And of course, there's the Pony Club you can join as well. So we're going to go jumping over today to my own local paper, the Barnsley Chronicle. So with their title on this, Barnsley councillor resigns from Tory party. So a councillor has resigned from being a Conservative to join Reform UK, formerly, of course, the Brexit Party. Now, you may remember back in 2019, there were a lot of Tory shall we say, Brexit Party councillors who did this. This was very much a theme that we saw back in 2019 of all these Brexit Party local councillors who were elected as Brexit Party, all then suddenly changed over to being Conservatives magically. In many cases, to give the Conservatives a majority in certainly local town councils. And I said at the time, I don't think that was fair. I said they should certainly go back to a general election, because I didn't really think it would be fair for the local populace to vote for one party and then the winner suddenly go, well, I'm not that party anymore. I'm changing my political stripes. I think they should have gone back to, again, like I say, the populace and said, I'm now standing as this party. Do you still want me as your councillor? Because, like I say, even though he's changing from sort of, conservative to reform, it's very likely sort of the politics that they represent, Reform UK, will be very different to that, of course, of the Conservatives. Hence why I think it should be fair that this guy does go back to the electorate. But anyway, back to it. So, the councillor, David White, who represents the Rockingham ward, was elected onto the council just earlier this year. However, Councillor White told his constituents that he would be now changing his allegiance to Reform UK, a right-wing populist party formed as the Brexit Party. In a message to his constituents, he said, quote, "In my view, the debate over the last few months within the Conservative Party was amateur at best and excruciating at worst. I was elected as a Barnsley ward councillor on the back of my promise to stand up for residents' local issues, and I do this daily to the very best of my ability. The only real criticism that I can receive on a regular basis from my residents is my choice of political party." You stood for them. You stood as a Conservative MP. So, yeah, if you do not like that you're getting criticism as a Conservative MP, I still do not think you have the right to just change over to a different political party because you're getting pushback for being a Conservative councillor. That doesn't seem right in this instance. But anyway, back to it. The established Conservative MPs already deciding not to stand at the next general election does not say much about the state of the party. I have met with Paul Oakden, the chief executive of Reform UK, along with other key senior party members, and I agree with many of the things that they are saying, such as, again, there's the state of local journalism. Maybe should have asked him that question. I'd certainly like to know what that particularly is, why he feels. Again, he says, quote, quote, the debate. What debate are you talking about? Is it the housing issue? Immigration? I don't know. You apparently like what Reform UK are saying more than the Conservative Party. Seems to me you're just doing it to save your seat, and you do not like the criticism you are getting as a Conservative councillor. But again, you stood as a Conservative councillor, so hey. But anyway, back to it. And of course, this is the classic. I was a member of the Brexit Party before rejoining the Conservatives, but enough is enough. So you were a member of the Brexit Party. You then joined the Conservatives. You've now rejoined the Reform Party. Just honestly, this guy is such a political coward. He cannot nail his colours to the mast close enough. I think this is very much quite a cowardice move on this guy's part. But there you go. Anyway, back to it. I've resigned my membership of the Conservative Party and joined Reform UK. This means, as a local ward councillor, I shall continue my duties helping to support the residents, albeit representing a different national party. And as I've said at the beginning and sort of throughout this, I think this guy here should absolutely go back to a general election and fight one on the Reform Party platform, because, like you say, he's even admitted, they are standing for different things. How does he know that his local ward, his local party, would even vote for him again, standing on those issues? So again, the only reason he's done it, I think, he's trying to save his political skin. That is it. I think absolutely this guy deserves huge criticism. And I think even not being able to, take the heat. Oh no, I'm getting all this criticism from being a Tory councillor. You stood as a Conservative councillor. I mean, I think it's, to be honest, unfair. I think the people of that ward should absolutely recall this guy and force him into a general election. I don't think it's fair for the people of that ward. Um, Even he has openly admitted in his statement that, again, he is standing for completely different political views to what he was aligned on, for what he's originally stood for. I think he should have to fight a general election for his seat again. I really think he should, but he's not. Because, like I say, I think to be honest, I think he's a bit of a political coward doing what he's done. Um, you know, but there you go. Anyway, just an interesting tidbit from my local politics area. But anyway, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a notification link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people for watching. And of course, if this councillor does see this video and you want to have a pop on, maybe we can have a bit of a political discussion, more than welcome. Get in contact with me. Councillor White, we'll have a talk about your changing political attitudes and why you think the Reform Party is, quote, better representing your constituency's needs. I'm all up for that. But anyway, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.